Hello photographers, hello photography enthusiasts. I'm back with another really exciting episode. I'm going to make the change from digital SLR, single lens reflex, to a mirrorless camera. So I've ordered it. I've got my B&H box right here. If you're not familiar with B&H, they're out of New York. They've been selling electronics for a long time. They've always treated me really good. I'm not sponsored. I'm not big time or anything like that. They don't know who I am, but but for me, they've been really helpful anytime I've needed anything, anytime I've needed to call them with a question, anytime I've needed to return something. They're super easy to deal with. I really enjoy dealing with them. So been buying photography gear from B&H for probably 12 or 15 years at least. Okay, so like I said, I'm currently shooting a digital SLR. I'm using a 1D Mark II, which is what I'm shooting this video with, and I also shoot a 5D SR. So part of the reason for making this video right from the very opening of the first box was because I've seen a couple other RF lens R5 body videos, and people had maybe some comments about the quality, the build quality of the lenses and the camera itself. So I wanted to capture my genuine response to opening the new gear. So I'm excited. I'm just going to tear into it. So let's open up this box and see what we have here. Okay, so I didn't plan it, but there was a special going on, so I got a battery grip with the R5, and that's what this is. This will be a extended battery life battery grip for the R5. It'll also extend the size of the body. It'll probably be more familiar to me like the 1DX2 versus without the battery grip. It'll probably be a lot like the 5DSR. At least that's what I anticipate. So anyways, so this is it. Looks pretty standard. A dial here and a dial here. It's got all the usual stuff that you'd expect to find on a battery grip or a vertical position on a pro body like a 1DX2. So the new batteries for the R5 are the same size as what goes into my 5DSR, or maybe what you have in your 5D Mark IV or some of those earlier cameras. Even some of the Rebels used it's a 6LP, except now I think it's a 6LP NH maybe, or something like that, just to indicate that it's a lithium ion. Anyways, yes, there are some questions about battery life on this camera, and so the new batteries do have something like 2,800 milliamp hour life expectancy. So, okay, first thing out of the box, let's see what else we have here. Very important. This is the adapter, so I can use my current EF lenses on the RF mount or the R5 body. They have a couple of different ones, and they have one that you can put filters into, and they have one that is for the EF lenses, and then they have one I think that's even a little bit more basic than this. I almost bought the one that had the filters. I almost bought the one that you could drop the filter, use a drop-in filter on, except then I looked at the price of drop-in filters, and they're the same price as screw-on filters, and I already have screw-on filters for all of my lenses. So I just forego that and go with this one, which is just a straight converter. So this one, it's a straight converter, but it also apparently you don't lose any performance from the lenses. So real common lens for me to shoot will be a 70 to 200 2.8, 24 to 70 2.8. Those are probably my two most common lenses that I shoot these days. I also really like my 17 TSE tilt shift lens, but that's a manual focus lens, so it doesn't really matter on that one. So I haven't used an adapter like this before from Canon, but I have extension tubes, and I have a 1.4 extender and a 2.0 extender Mark III. 1.4 is a Mark II, I believe. But I mean, it's really what you would expect from Canon, I think. And then it's got the control ring too, which I think, you know, all the RF lenses now, they have they call it a control ring, and you can set the control ring to adjust your ISO or your f-stop or different camera settings. It's supposed to be, you know, a nice feature to get you your settings dialed in faster than you might otherwise. It'll be interesting to see how I use that. I know some people don't use it. Some people don't care for the feature, but and it's certainly not the reason why I decided to upgrade, but if I can use the feature, if I find it handy, I'm definitely going to use it. It's there, and all the lenses are equipped. So a very handy thing to have when you invest all this money in glass, you know, to be able to carry the lenses over with all Canon factory equipment. I think that's a good move that they made there, so I can still use a lot of my EF lenses. In my 1DX2, I can use a CF Express, and maybe it's a CF Express A, very fast write and read speed card. The R5 uses these CF Express Type B, and of course I had to get a new reader to be able to use these new cards. So I got the reader, got the cards, trying to have my ducks in a row and be all set up. I'm gonna try and you know, go shoot tomorrow, so get a little bit of experience with the camera. So okay, now we're into the heavy hardware. So let's see, what should we grab first? How about if we grab the camera body first? So, yeah, okay. You know, pretty much what you would expect. It's very much a battery, a cable, which looks like USB-C. I think there's a USB to C to USB-C something or another that you can do with this. It might just be for live shooting with a Mac or something. I don't know. I'll have to see how I'm going to use that. I don't know if I will or not, but looks just like the charger for my 5 DSLR, and the battery looks the same too, but like I said, these are lithium ion batteries now, and I did order a spare, but I just ordered the spare today. Let's see, what do they call this? This is an LPE6NH. So the old ones were LPE6s. This is an LPE6NH. So I believe it's lithium ion, but maybe it's something else. 2130 milliamp hours, 7.2 volts. So it packs a bigger punch than the batteries that we've had in the other bodies traditionally. Obviously 1DX uses a special battery just for that body, but all the 5D series used an E6 style battery, but these have a little bit more power and pack a little bit more punch, and it should be good to get some extra time out of the camera. So so that's that. Just standard issue stuff. Nothing too dramatic yet. Okay, so let's have a look at the body. Canon camera strap. Probably the worst invention ever is like the standard camera strap. I hate these things. I haven't opened any of them on the last 5 or 6 cameras that I've had. I use like a shoulder strap style to carry my camera around, or a wrist style. I don't know. I think those things are just crap. I don't use them. Okay, let me get this out of the way. All right, so here it is. It feels really good. First impressions are it feels really good in the hand. It's a little bit heavier than I probably would have expected, considering the battery's not even in it yet. There's no battery in it. It's not nothing. It's not heavy, but it's probably more than I would have expected for not even having a battery in it. I'm just going to grab the 5 DSR if I can find it. So this is my 5 DSR. Now let me put the battery in it and see. They actually feel very similar. I thought this one felt heavier, but they feel very similar. Okay, so now everything's got a battery. Yeah, they're pretty close. They're pretty close. So, but you can see the size difference. 5 DSR, 50 megapixel, basically a 5D body. All the 5D bodies were the same, virtually. And this will be the 5 DSR. A little smaller. And I know the lenses are meant to be lighter and smaller. So overall package, I think is going to be lighter and easier to carry around all day on a job. So, okay, let me set down the 5 DSR. All right, so the R5. It's not, well, it probably has some battery charge in it, but my goal really wasn't to get into the camera just yet. I was really first impressions, and particularly on the lenses. But looking at the body, I mean, it has a nice feel to it, has a nice weight to it. I'm glad I got the extra battery pack because my pinky falls off the bottom. And I don't like that. I want to be sure that I have a good grip on my camera. So I gotta pull the door off here. Okay. So took off the yellow caps, took off the door, off the camera, and it just screws together. If you've ever used one of these, they're all the same. Pretty much, they're all the same. Okay, so that definitely keeps my finger from dropping off the body of the bottom of the camera. Makes the camera, doesn't really change the weight of it very much, although a little bit if you put 2 batteries in it. Yeah, I think I'm gonna like having the battery grip. I'll probably leave it on all the time. So far, so good. I like it. The real test will be in the shooting, but like I said, this video was really the first part of this video is just to check the quality, and I can't fault it at all at this point. It's a little bit more squared off. The Canons have been a little bit bigger and a little bit more rounded. It's a little bit more kind of Nikon shape-ish, I would say, from the Z9 that I used, but yeah, no complaints whatsoever. I like it. I like it. No complaints at all. All right, now okay, so here we are. RF 15 to 35 2.8. I already have a 70 to 2.8 EF, so I didn't get the RF. I've always heard really good things about the 16 to 35 EFL, and even more so the 15 to 35 RFL. People really like this lens, so I decided to get this one, and later, if the EF and the adapter is too much to deal with, I may just go ahead and get an RF. Eventually, I'll get an RF 24 to 70, I'm sure. But right now, to cover the gap in my bag, this was the right lens for me. So the hood. Oh, I like it. It's got a nice feel to it, nice finish. It's kind of a satin finish to it. It's got all grooves around the inside. It's a lens hood. There's not a lot to it, but okay. So here we go. It ain't nothing. It's got some weight to it, and so this ring here will be the control ring that I talked about. And then you'll have a focus ring, and then you'll have zoom. So it is a telescoping zoom. It's not internal, but I think that helps maybe keep the size of the lens down a little bit. On the back, it's got a lot more pins than an EF had. The RF has, I forget, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 maybe. Quite a few more pins than the EF lenses had, but man, it feels pretty good. It's a nice, a very well constructed lens. I spent a lot of time in engineering firms working with precision pieces, and I think I'm qualified to speak on if I see something of quality, I can say that it is or it isn't. And this is exactly what I expected from Canon. It's a feels like a really nice high quality piece, built very well. Everything is the way it should be. Nothing is loose. All the indexes. So this extra ring, the control ring, it's got indexes, and they feel really nice. I would like a little bit more tension on the index, but everything does index, and it feels nice. Feels very nice. The focus ring, great for when you're looking through the camera and trying to set up your subject and get a shot off. I think the thing feels amazing, and this was actually one of the lenses that I heard another photographer say in their review that they weren't sure if it was quite as good as the EF lenses. My first impression is that it's every bit as good as an EF lens. In fact, I would say it's better. I like this texture on the lens. It's got more rubber grip on the zoom. That's quite a big area there to grab and zoom. And then focus for people that manually focus, but I don't manually focus. I don't know a lot of people that do anymore because autofocus has gotten so good. One of the big reasons why I went for the R5 was the autofocus capabilities and the firmware updates that they've done to it, giving it the motorsport mode, the eye tracking mode, and I don't mean eye tracking mode, I mean animal eye tracking mode when you're shooting wildlife, but also it does have the human eye tracking mode when you're looking through the electronic viewfinder. So tons of tech. I might not even use all the tech that's in this camera, but tons of tech, and honestly, the quality, it's fantastic. It's really fantastic. So that leaves the 70-200 2.8, and I'm really looking forward to seeing this lens as well. Okay, 70-200 2.8L. And this is a staple lens for me. I mean, really, people say that, and I wasn't really a believer in the past when I was doing different kinds of photography, and I do mostly automotive photography now, static and dynamic, meaning cars that are sitting still as well as cars that are out on the road or out on the track, action photography as well as static photography with the cars. So this is a super important piece of gear for me. My 70-200 EF is always been in my bag. It always gets used no matter what I'm doing. And sometimes it's a little short, so I do have extender for that. And I also have a longer lens. I actually had a 500 and I sold it, and I kept my 300 2.8. Is a phenomenal lens. So it's a lot shorter than the EF lens, and you might be able to, I might be able to pack this in my camera bag vertically which would give me more space in my bag, which is great because then I can carry another lens. So yeah, I'm super geeked about this. I'm going to try and go out. It's getting late here already, but I'm going to try and go out tomorrow and maybe get some experience with this new camera. Lots to learn, set up the menus and get all my information in the camera. But I'm super impressed with what I've seen just taking it out of the box. So obviously I'm gonna follow up shortly with some real world experience using the lens. But everything I'm seeing, man, it's nice stuff. It's nice stuff, and that's exactly what I expected. That's why I stayed with Canon. You know, when I was changing my mount from EF to RF, and that's the chance, you know, if I was going to change to Nikon or Sony or something else, that was the time to do it. And you can see I made the choice to stay with Canon. I've had really good luck with it over the years. I have a really good friend of mine. You just set this down on something soft. A really good friend of mine shoots. Sony cameras, and I think the performance out of the Sony, from looking at his images, is fantastic. But where I've seen the Sony suffer is in dusty conditions. It'll shut down, or you know, going through a lot of cards and really working the camera pretty hard in any sort of dusty or inclement weather or anything like that. I think, you know, I've seen the camera basically fail to proceed. You could get back to the hotel in the evening and blow it out and clean it up and everything works again. But my Canons have never done that. My Canons have always worked. I've shot in the rain when I lived in the UK. I shot motorsport in the rain. I've shot wind, dust. I mean, I've shot in every kind of condition that you can think of, and my Canons have never failed me. They've never let me down. I always have enough battery life. I always have enough camera. I always have enough everything. So I decided to stay with Canon, while making a mount change. And there was a point where I really thought I might do something other than Canon, but so far I'm excited that I stayed with Canon, and I can't wait to get one of these lenses on the body and go try it out, do some photography, do some videos. Mostly I do photography, so that's really what I'm excited about. And like I said, I'm definitely going to follow up with more videos to let you know what my experience has been changing over from digital SLR to a mirrorless camera body. Doing the YouTube stuff is just a hobby for me. So, but I mean, if you get any sort of value out of it at all, or you find it interesting, or you find it entertaining, maybe, I'd appreciate if you'd follow and watch some more videos. Earlier this year, I did one on the exposure triangle. So I was kind of trying to think of how to really start at the beginning. And I don't know if I explained it very well or not, but I tried to talk about the exposure triangle. If you don't know what it is, go watch the video. And I think as I move forward with the new mirrorless, and I try to do more of these, informational tutorial type videos for YouTube, that we can get into more detail about camera settings, or even maybe do some behind the scenes on one of my photo shoots, or something like that. I don't know. I'll keep making content for you, I guess is what I'm saying. That's my intention anyways. I know I don't put out a lot of content super frequently, but like I said, this is the YouTube aspect of it is just a hobby for me. I like to shoot stills. I like to shoot automotive stills, whether it's static or dynamic. That's what I do. Been very fortunate to have my work featured on the cover of some magazines over the last couple of years, and look forward to doing more of that. And that's what my focus and drive is right now. So the video stuff is, I do it because I can or because I have to, not because I super enjoy it. But I look forward to reporting back to you on the 70-200 2.8 RF versus the performance of the EF on the R5 body using the adapter. And likewise, my 70 to 200 and the 15 to 35 RF, I'm really excited to get that out and try some different things with that. Everybody raves about that lens. So, and if you want to check out some of my photography, a lot of it's commissioned and I can't post a lot of it on my personal social media, but I do post some stuff, and you can see my some of my car photography at TLP_motorsport_photography, or you can check out some of my nature photography at TLP_outdoor_photography. So those are my social media channels. If you get a chance, check me out. Hit me up with a note. Let me know you saw something on my YouTube channel. I'll follow you back. Love to do that sort of thing. And catch you guys next time. Thanks. All right, so I think I've talked enough for one video, and I'm gonna let you guys go, and I'm gonna clean up all this stuff and get my bag ready to go do some shooting tomorrow, and then I'll make another video and I'll tell you all about that too. So thank you for watching. Thanks for sticking around to the end, and I will talk again with you soon.